Hi everyone. People spend so much of their lives chasing perfection, like it's this magical place where everything finally lines up, the timing, the resources, the confidence. But the truth is, perfection is a moving target. It's the excuse we dress up to justify standing still. You say you'll start that project when you have the right tools, or speak up when you feel more confident, or follow your dream when the stars finally align. But here's the reality, they never do, not all at once. You'll never feel 100% ready. You'll always think something's missing. And that's okay, because what actually gets you results isn't perfection, it's progress. It's showing up every single day and doing the work, even when you're unsure, even when it's uncomfortable. The most successful people you admire didn't wait until they were perfect. They started with trembling hands, shaky voices, and half-baked ideas. They learned along the way. They failed and they kept going. Think about your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite invention. Chances are it didn't come out perfect on the first try. It was refined, improved, tested, and adjusted. That's the process. You don't get to greatness without going through good enough. Look around. Someone with less experience than you, less talent than you, less potential than you is out there living the dream you keep putting off. Not because they're better, but because they acted. They trusted the process more than the picture in their head. So stop stalling your life for a version of perfect that doesn't exist. Start where you are. Use what you have, do what you can. You'll surprise yourself, not by being perfect, but by being consistent. That's where the real power lives. We live in a world where people think they need to have everything figured out before they begin. They want to be sure, confident, clear. But let me ask you this. When was the last time clarity came while you were just sitting around thinking? It doesn't work that way. Clarity isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn through action. The problem is people confuse planning with progress. They stay stuck in their heads, spinning in circles, overanalyzing every move, scared to make the wrong one. But the truth is, thinking doesn't build momentum, doing does. You don't learn to swim by reading a manual. You learn by getting in the water, kicking, splashing, choking a little, but moving. Action teaches you more in a week than overthinking does in a year. It sharpens your instincts, builds your confidence, and gives you real-time feedback. You might take a few wrong turns, yes, but you'll also learn how to adjust. That's how confidence is born, not from knowing everything ahead of time, but from proving to yourself that you can figure it out as you go. Think about someone starting a new job. On day one, they don't know every system, every task, every answer. But by showing up, asking questions, and doing the work, they get better. One day at a time, confidence grows not because they waited until they knew everything, but because they didn't. Stop trying to feel brave before you take the leap. Take the leap and the bravery will follow. Even a small step, just one phone call, one email, one decision, can shift everything. The more you act, the clearer the path becomes. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Just take it. Let motion lead the way. Too many people are waiting for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, okay, now you're allowed to go for it. They hold back because they think they need permission from a boss, a mentor, a parent, society, or even the version of themselves they hope to become one day. But life doesn't work like that. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to grant you permission to live your own life. That's your job. You don't need a certificate to start. You don't need everyone to understand your dream. You don't need a cheerleading squad before you make a move. You just need to decide that you're enough to begin. Because you are, and you always were. Think about all the people who made history. They weren't waiting for applause before they acted. They had an idea, a belief, a goal, and they moved, even when people doubted them, even when they doubted themselves. They gave themselves permission. And that's exactly what you need to do. People will always have opinions. Some will support you, some won't. That can't be your compass. If you let others decide when you're ready, you'll be waiting forever. You're not here to live someone else's version of success. You're here to build your own. Every single person who ever made a difference started with one powerful decision. I don't need anyone's approval to start. And that's all it takes. Not a crowd, not perfection, not the stars aligning. Just a choice. You don't need to be chosen, you don't need to be picked, you need to pick yourself. Step up, speak out, show up for your life like it's yours, because it is. Give yourself permission. No one else has the authority anyway. Fear is not the enemy, it's a signal. It shows up when you're about to do something that matters, that trembling in your chest, that racing heart, that tiny voice whispering, what if it goes wrong? That's fear doing its job. But just because fear shows up doesn't mean you have to stop. Fear doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means you're stepping into something bigger than what you're used to. And that's exactly where growth lives. Too many people treat fear like a stop sign when it's really just a yield sign. Slow down if you must, but keep moving. Bring fear along if it insists, but don't let it drive. Strap it into the back seat. Say, you can come, but I'm not giving you the wheel. Because if you wait for fear to disappear before you start, you'll never move. Everyone feels fear. The speaker who takes the stage, nervous. The entrepreneur launching a new idea, uncertain. The student starting at a new school, terrified. The parent raising a child for the first time, overwhelmed. But they don't let fear call the shots. They feel it and act anyway. That's real courage. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to show up with it. Fear will always try to convince you to play small, to stay safe, to avoid the risk. But here's the truth. The safest path is often the most dangerous in disguise, because while you're protecting yourself from failure, you're also robbing yourself of possibility, of growth, of purpose. You don't have to feel fearless to take action. You just have to be willing. Start scared, start unsure, start while your hands are shaking, because the moment you move, something shifts. Fear loses its grip, confidence grows, and suddenly what once felt impossible feels natural. Don't wait to be unafraid. Be bold with fear. That's where real strength is born. Time doesn't pause just because you're unsure. It doesn't slow down while you're making up your mind or waiting for the perfect conditions. Every second you hesitate, life keeps moving. And the harsh truth, time isn't waiting for you to get comfortable. It's moving forward with or without you. We often act like we have forever, like opportunities will circle back, like dreams have no expiration date. But they do, not because you're not capable, but because life changes, people move on, energy fades. The window that's open today might be shut tomorrow. That idea you have, someone else out there is working on it. That goal you've been putting off, it's not waiting politely in line, it's growing dusty while you overthink. The biggest regret most people have isn't what they did, it's what they didn't do when they had the chance, the call they didn't make, the leap they didn't take, the conversation they avoided, the dream they buried under doubt and delay. Time is the most valuable thing you have. You can make more money, you can rebuild relationships, you can even reinvent yourself, but you can't create more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. So ask yourself, how long are you going to wait? How many more sunrises before you stop putting yourself on hold? Before you stop living like you've got unlimited tomorrows? Use your time like it matters, because it does. If you want change, start now. If you want growth, start now. If you want meaning, action, purpose, start. Don't let the days blur together while your dreams sit on a shelf, because one day you'll look back and realize time didn't run out on you, you ran out on time. And that moment, that's the one you want to avoid. So move while you still can. Everyone has a dream. Some talk about it, some write it down, and some carry it quietly in their hearts, hoping one day everything will line up so they can finally begin. But here's the difference between people who just dream and people who live those dreams. The ones who live them started. That's it. Not because they had more talent, not because they had more money, support, or luck. They simply made the decision to begin. Starting is the most powerful thing you can do. It sounds simple, almost too small to matter, but it's everything. One action, even the smallest step, breaks the cycle of hesitation. It shifts you from wishing into doing, from someday into now. And yet, it's where most people freeze. They build a dream in their head like a castle in the sky, perfect and untouched, too afraid to lay the first brick in case it doesn't look like the picture. But that fear of not getting it right keeps them from getting it done. Here's the truth. Your dream won't come to life through thoughts and ideas alone. It needs action, real, imperfect, uncomfortable action. Think of a painter. They don't sit around trying to mentally finish the painting in their head before picking up the brush. They start. One stroke, one color, and maybe it's messy at first. Maybe it doesn't look how they imagine, but eventually the image forms. The magic comes through movement. The same goes for your goals. Want to write a book? Start with one messy page. Want to start a business? Make one phone call. Want to get fit? Take a walk today. Waiting until you feel ready or until circumstances are perfect will only push your dream further away. Because what you don't start, you can't grow. It doesn't matter how small your beginning is. What matters is that it begins. Momentum is built through motion. Confidence is built through experience. Clarity comes through doing. None of that is possible without the first step. You can plan all you want, visualize it, dream it to death, but if you don't start, it stays a wish. There are people out there right now living the life you want, not because they're smarter, not because they're more deserving, but because they decided to move while others stood still. They didn't wait to be perfect. They didn't wait for applause. They took the leap, made mistakes, got back up, and kept going. You can be that person. You have everything you need to begin right now, not when you have more time, not when people believe in you, not when you feel more prepared. Now, the only permission you need is your own. The only tool you truly need is the willingness to begin, even if it's shaky, even if it's small. Starting is scary, yes, but regret is scarier. Regret is what happens when you realize the door was always open, but you never walked through. It's the weight of knowing you could have, but didn't. And that feeling, that's far worse than failure, because failure teaches, starting teaches, but waiting teaches you nothing but how to stand still. So take the first step, however small, however uncertain, because that first step makes you different from most. Most people wait, most people talk, most people dream. Few actually do. Be the one who does. Be the one who starts. That's the only way to become the one who finishes.